Bushel, all in favor? Thank you. Adoption of minutes, recommendation that the minutes of the committee of the whole meeting held on June 24th, 2026 be adopted. Councillor Bushel, Councillor Bailey, all in favor? Carried. And if you're laughing at my voice,
That does not sound good. I'm not laughing.
it's just laryngitis.
Just.
Not contagious. But yeah, it sounds a little squeaky, doesn't it?
Sounds awful. Sorry that you're having a cold in summer.
The cold is gone.
This is the aftermath.
This is the aftermath. Anyway, okay, let's get started. Communities in Bloom, Deb, you have the floor. Take it away.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know I normally finish when I do these things, but I was up late last night doing my own presentation because I've got a slide deck. I'm going to read a bit more because I'm a bit worried I'm going to go off otherwise. So this is about communities update to council. And so we've got the heading growing more than gardens. And I know sometimes people get confused. So it has always been about beautification, but today it's about so much more. We're growing more than gardens, partnerships, food security, public art, downtown vitality, and communities pride while supporting council's vision for a better downtown. And while beautification remains important, it has Communities in Bloom has evolved into a catalyst for community pride partnerships and economic development for Sycamores. Our projects are no longer viewed as individual initiatives. Together, they create welcoming spaces, strengthen partnerships, encourage residents and visitors to spend more time in our downtown. Oh, and I click it, right? So I'll do that. Okay. What do you have to take over?
I'll just take over.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm no good at this. So the next slide, please. So one of the things I want to talk about is one project, many benefits, but we started out with the Legion looking like it did in that first there, and you can see it was a rather sad, dirty, ugly little parking lot with like an old dated building. And I don't pretend that, we resided it or whatever, but in terms of Communities in Bloom, taking the project on, adding the patio and just participating in over all the years to try and make it somewhat better. And now we've got, because of that, someplace on Friday afternoons where everybody in the community can gather, and it's a real community gathering spot. Beyond that, it's a great event location for others too. So, yeah, let's go to the next slide. So I had mentioned that, what I'll do is talk a little bit, aside from the slide, about our downtown revitalization for 2026. So we got a nice space, but we're continuing to build on that momentum. And so that includes where, as I think you guys, most of you are aware, we are adding a sound system to enhance the downtown atmosphere and support the farmers market mounted off the cenotaph. So it will be for the Remembrance Day ceremonies and other community events as well. That is still in the works. It's almost done. We're going to continue supporting the growth of Sycamores Farmers Market as a revitalizing catalyst for downtown. And one of the things we're working on, I know some of you have seen it, is we're launching a downtown business beautification contest that with the idea that it complements what the Sycamores Economic Development Corporation is doing with their revitalization grants for downtown businesses. And so this is just an add-on to making it all about trying to make Sycamores better downtown. Okay, let's see. Yeah, let's do the fourth slide. And part of what we're saying here is with the creating welcoming spaces, you can see we're Of course, not all of this is Communities in Bloom. Again, I would like to characterize it as things that Communities in Bloom is supporting and is helping to, for instance, like in the Anvil, obviously that's a business initiative, but it started, I like to think it started with the Tidy Towners redoing that corner and making that look better. And then things just build on that. And certainly with the site up by Reds, storage compound. We've added the trees from the tree from Communities in Bloom, and then a private donation for 2 of them. And we've got our little plaques on our benches. We've added the rock. We're supporting, providing items for the rock. So it's just all of these things that are making Sycamores downtown a more welcoming place. Okay, next please. So the public art. Most of you are aware that each year we sponsor, we've got a private donation that is supporting the artists at the Red Barn in terms of adding more art players. The project this year is the Senior Center. They basically specified what they would like to see in the art. It is going to go on that north facing wall, that big blank wall that faces the old haven. So they're going to take the pieces they want, and then I will continue to install them strategically around town to screen or, just make things look better and screen things that don't look quite so good and build on that. We will also, I will be updating Snap for our Art and Garden Walk of downtown with the idea that this is something that they have in the visitor center so that whether it's residents, visitors, they can get a copy of the map and explore all of these community garden and art assets. Next, please. Oh, there we go. Oh, okay, I'm still, this one I thought might end up out of order. So looking forward, looking beyond Sycamores. Oh, actually, no, that is in the right order. Okay. So we're helping, I mentioned there, the Communities in Bloom Showcase. As you guys know, since we quit participating in the judging category, we have continued to be members of Communities in Bloom and always do a showcase submission to kind of keep our profile up there with them. I found they've been very good partners too. So the next, the plan is to have the Sycamores Center as the Communities in Bloom Showcase for Sycamores for 2026. And although this wasn't specifically a Communities in Bloom project, we did do some of the art installation and screening on Dale Kremer's property, but when we do Communities in Bloom Showcase projects, it's not just Communities in Bloom, we're showcasing Sycamores. So I think it's impossible to find a better thing to showcase than that building. And obviously the gardens around it. Our deadline is July 31st. I'm hearing that, the landscaping will be done. But in the meantime, I just think it's just such a beautiful asset. And of course, architecture and design is a big part of what people that want to do, that are interested in garden tourism and travel around looking at things. It's tied right in with the sort of things they would do. The Gardens BC has been a tricky one. I've been nagging everybody that will listen. Communities in Bloom has helped me in this, and Gardens BC has been pretty good too. So I think I have complained to you before. I gotta listen. Thompson Okanagan is the only region in BC that is not part of Gardens BC as a regional garden destination. I keep asking, I've talked to Toga a lot and ask Communities in Bloom to help me leverage it. Gardens BC has been very good about recognizing. I think they feel sorry for me because I'm not hearing back from these guys. So they've been really good about sharing a lot of what we post on the Communities in Bloom page. As well, they have been good. They have asked me to provide them with pictures and some material because they want to do a feature on us. No charge, because I'm still trying to look into getting a membership. They do, if you're not part of a regional destination and the community within that, or a garden center, it doesn't seem to fit within their model, but they have said that they will showcase that for us. So it's and then the provincial promotion, I think. What was I thinking of there? So well, I'm still talking to Toda and others, and what can we do about recognizing St. Luke's as a garden community in addition, like obviously it's got a lot of other tours and things going on, but we invested a fair bit in terms of trying to make it look good and have the garden art and angles. So I really am continuing to pursue promoting that with Toda and such. Next slide, please. Oh, there should be.
I guess before.
There we go.
This one?
Oh, that one, community partnerships. So one of the things that's really important to recognize is that we have a really fabulous community. And I have worked hard at developing relationships and partnerships with so many of these groups that have so much to offer. And they've been great in terms of working with us and in terms of communities in bloom projects, but also in terms of us working with them to do things to make their sites look better. I threw in the 4-H as part of our community cleanup. We just submitted a nomination for the 4-H club as a youth group for the Communities in Bloom Youth Group contest or recognition award. I don't know what the is to call it. I guess it's an award that they do every week, and it's because they're doing some fabulous things as a youth as well. I know the pickleball looks a little weird, but as you know, I'm working hard with the pickleball in terms of getting TELUS to give us that lot to use. But it has been huge, the difference it has made, not only in terms of keeping that lot maintained, because it looked like crap before, but it also is now a really good community space in terms of having, with our tournament and everything else, suddenly we've got a place to park and gather and as without sitting in the middle of a pickleball court. So it's been good that way too. So, and I can't say enough about it that both the Legion and the Arts Council have just been fabulous partners over the years in terms of giving and working with them. Okay, next one, please. And the one thing I mentioned, you don't have to go back, but in terms of just a couple other things, I guess, in terms of leveraging our community investment with our partnerships and such. One of the things I did want to mention is that we have, in terms of getting private donations, grants, and sponsorships from elsewhere, we have generated more than 10,000 to support the projects and the farmers market and things we're doing with that. In addition, we have, I've mentioned this to you guys before, but BC Farmers Market Association has allocated $11,664 in addition to the other food security and programs we've got for residents that qualify to purchase produce and meat and such at the market. So it really is, it's doing all that. And of course, I should have mentioned in the previous slide, but it's all good, is with the volunteer hours. We've got some really, really fabulous volunteers in this town that spend a ton of time, helping out. And when you kind of consider the value that, well, it's priceless. It's, so. Okay, so looking forward, with growing more than gardens, we are going to continue to support downtown revitalization and beautification and create welcoming spaces and encourage people to gather. strengthen partnerships throughout the community, support food security and local agriculture, and enhance Sycamoos's reputation throughout BC as a vibrant, welcoming, and attractive community, with our goal remaining simple: to create a community that residents are proud to call home and visitors remember long after they leave. So I think Sycamoose has come so far since I know since the last OCP, I guess, was when I got started in Communities in Bloom, and the change I have seen that, I would like to think Communities in Bloom has contributed to, but businesses, everybody, it's just been fabulous. You look back 10 years ago and a picture of downtown, and it's fabulous now. So I think we're all working together to create something special. Now, that is my Communities in Bloom update. I promised my neighbor that I would mention one other thing. It's so rail trail. My neighbor is very concerned, and this kind of ties in a lot with, like with the invasive mussels and whatever, is that invasive poison ivy, and she's convinced there's giant hogsweed too. And both of them are very dangerous weeds in terms of especially if little kids or pets get into them. I know somebody out there that he get big blisters, and it's quite nasty. So I have actually contacted the fellow that from the Slats and that's dealing with vegetation. He hasn't got back to me. I had invited invasive species to participate in the market again this year, and they said, yeah, sorry, we don't have bodies to do it. So I just kind of I said I would raise that as an issue. I will continue to try and do some things separately on that. But they have put up signs for like the poison ivy, not for the hogsweed. But it's just, you go over there and there's a lot of it. So anyway, don't want to kind of rain on the parade, but that's, I promised I would mention about it. So any questions?
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you for all that you do. And yes, 10 years ago to fast forward to today, big change, and see more on the horizon. Council, questions? Councillor Bushel.
Yes, through the chair. Yeah, Deb, just wanted to reach out and say thank you to you and all your partners. And you just, everything you do is always trying to put Sycamoose on the map. And I know you work really hard at it, and we really thank you for it. And it's really starting to show on Main Street, and everything's looking really good. And I'll just on the rail trail too. I did notice I walk the rail trail all the time, and we do have a lot of growth. It's actually the trail is narrowing, and I know they should be getting out there fairly soon, because it is those weeds are coming in really, really tight, and I've had lots of people mention it to me too.
Councillor Bailey.
Yeah, thank you, Deb. Like, I'm constantly amazed at what you do and how you find, like, you obviously don't sleep. But I want to echo what you said with, as a downtown business owner myself, about how it's come. And I want to give like huge thanks to you to starting first Community in Blooms and everything. And I think everything's kind of incremental in a way that it builds on itself, and certainly new businesses down there. And there's been new additions this year, and there's beautification happening all the way along. And it starts by everybody's individual actions, and you can sort of see how all of this, and now with the market there, it's building on itself. And really that's a huge testament to you as a leader in this community and taking on these initiatives. So thank you very much. And I see nothing but good things for downtown Sycamoose, and yeah, really appreciate the work.
Yeah. Sorry.
Bob's got his hand up.
Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, Deb, it takes somebody with vision, and you came into Sycamoose with outside eyes, and you looked at it, and I tell you, little by little adds up to a lot. And Main Street 18 years ago when I moved here, and now are night and day. So thank you. It is an amazing work that you've done in our town.
Yes, thank you, Deb. Thanks for inspiring all of our businesses to do better as well, because they are doing,
And I would just like to point out one more thing. So jewelry
Jewelry.
Shirt. bought from the farmer's market. Savings.
Oh, there you go, thanks.
Thanks, Deb. Okay, moving forward. Brenna, you're next, District Sycamoose Development Corporation.
Hi everyone, I'm going to try to speak nice and loud, but please wave if you can't hear me. Sometimes to speak quietly. I am here to present the mid-year tourism update. So starting with MRDT, we saw increases in the January and March MRDT numbers, which is somewhat due to having less snow this year. But we saw increases for February and April, so some of it could be the result of when short-term rentals and home health transfers. I was still a little early in making conclusions about where 2020 stands compared to previous years, but January to April is currently sitting at a 2% decrease. The Explore Sycamoose website continues to see significant growth in traffic, with the first half of the year once again doubling what we saw for the first half of last year. 2025 is there on the left, and 2026 on the right. A big contributor to the growth has been the interest in the new live webcams that were added last year, specifically the ones showing bridge construction, as well as people seeking out ferry information on the Sycamoose Ferry to Rail Trail page. Other top pages so far in 2026 are trails, what to eat, houseboating, and the event calendar. We've had over 12,000 new users on the site this year, with most coming from search engines or directly typing in the website. Top referrals were from search engines, Sycamoose Houseboats, Sycamoose.ca, Facebook, and the Shark Chat. The majority of users are from Canada, specifically the Vancouver area and Calgary, but we also had traffic from the US, Singapore, China, the UK, and Germany. Sycamoose social media continues to grow this year with 1.8 million views on Facebook so far, for an increase of 241% and 4,100 new followers. Top videos are once again the C-Store concert this year, as well as Ferry to Rail Trail and Ferry Market. We had 414,000 views on TikTok and 3,500 shares, and 738,000 views on Instagram, for an increase of 350% and 1,000 new followers. Top posts on Instagram include Visit Ferry, C-Store concert, and Owlhead Mountain Bike Park. And we've also added a new page this year, but it's still in the early stages of development. The goal is to create more long-form, in-depth content and use YouTube for paid advertising internationally. This is just a quick compilation video of some of the things that have gone out or are planning to be going out soon. So watch that.
Did you guys want me to sing while this is going on?
Yes, please.
Then this is the list of content themes we're focusing on for 2026, with main content pillars being outdoor recreation, exhibition and events, ferry to rail trail, bicycle loops and Owlhead Mountain Bike Park, hotels and lake activities. I'm not going to read them all out, so the other ones we're going to be for. The Sycamoose Ferry social media also did very well this year, with 568,000 views on Facebook so far for 2026 and 42,000 views on Instagram. Top posts included the press release announcing the ferry season, the rail trail map, and the parking point of view video collaborated with Explore Sycamoose. A new project this year is Google Maps. We added 4 new locations at Sycamoose. Owlhead Map Pickup getting 8,700 views, Moose Ferry Pickup getting 7,500 views, Sycamoose Pump Track at 12,600 views, and the Fallen Road parking lot for the rail trail getting 5,000 views so far. We added pictures as well, which have received over 20,000 views, and a QR code to the Fallen Road parking lot. It's also featured on the ferry info cards and signage to help people find it when the ferries are running. It's had 90 scans so far. We also created an Explore Sycamoose Google Business profile this year and added some of the free recreation offerings to it for pump track, ferry, rail trail, ATV at Sycamoose and Owlhead Mountain Bike Park. And they either like to Explore Sycamoose page or to Shoe Swap Backcountry Riders, Shoe Swap Trail Alliance, etc. And we had a new visitor guide come out this year with 3,000 copies printed. It went into market in May and went to 7 visitor centers in the area so far. And I just got word that Revelstoke we sent them a couple weeks ago. So that's a good sign that people are taking them. The digital copy of the guide was uploaded to the website in April, and we are currently distributing QR window links to encourage people to use the digital guide. We updated the Sycamoose Ferry info cards this year as well, and received funding from Destination BC for 5,000 of them. They were sent out along with the visitor guides and distributed to businesses on the ferry, at the wooden kiosks, visitor center, to the Shoe Swap Trail Alliance, TODA, and Destination BC. I'm currently talking with Phil McIntyre Pod about Trail Alliance, but other things to be sent to, so more will be getting sent out this month. The ferry is shown to be a huge driver for tourism, with many visitors reporting that they came to town specifically to ride the ferry to a rail trail, but also visited restaurants, shops, and other businesses. It has brought the creation of the new e-bike businesses and provided a new advertising space. And we are working closely with Shoe Swap Trail Alliance and Destination BC to explore how to make this impact even bigger and promote Sycamoose as the start of the rail trail as it continues to expand in west. The QR code on these cards has been scanned from many different places, including England, Tokyo, Switzerland, Toronto, Oregon, California, and New York. We updated the Where to one page this year with the new Things to Do section. So we've had 500 printed and distributed so far in 2026. We put out new signs for window kiosks featuring the Sycamoose Ferry and events calendar, and we continued the geo tour from previous years. The annual event calendar was also printed out to give businesses and hotels, and we continually update the online event calendar as new events are announced. I also do monthly event posts on our social media, and I've started printing out those for display as well. The new digital kiosk arrived in June and is currently located in the visitor center. I'm working on editing it for accuracy, usability, and ensuring that everyone is included on it. It's going to move it to the recreation center in the fall. It includes business listings with links to websites, contact information, sections for where to eat, where to stay, shopping, events, activities, and the wayfinding app. And these are all the ads that have been featured in the Kelowna Airport so far this year. I'll be reaching out to businesses in the fall to collect new content to make sure we're including even more people in our. And the geocache tour keeps going strong. We just added a new geocache at the gate path and a new bonus temporary geocache at Harry and the rail trail. Other initiatives include the Explore Sycamoose newsletter, which advertises our 10 new subscribers each month. Signs and posters for the BC Backyard Ultra welcoming racers. So we asked Kara what we could do to support the event. She said the best thing would be showing the racers that we are excited to have them here and we are cheering them on. She will also be receiving some promo videos that she will show at race events and other communities throughout the year. And this Sycamoose video was created at the TODA Golf Tournament this year that was held at Shoe Swap National in June. Sycamoose hosts next year is at Merritt Hills, so I think talking with TODA very soon about planning that. And new Sycamoose ferry map for parking was put at the ferry pickup in the visitor center and online as well. And some other statistics, I wasn't able to get the rail trail numbers in time, but the ferry was at 12,626 riders as of yesterday afternoon for the season. And our 4 largest hotels reported an average occupancy rate of 74% for June, which is great, but still shows that there's room for growth in June tourism. And these are some of the places that our real-time cameras are accessed from in June 2026. Coming from July to December. So I'll be reaching out to businesses for content for the airport ads. There will be September Sycamoose Stay and Play campaigns featuring Funky Fest, pickleball, like Sycamoose promo, Arrowhead Mountain Camp Park, Top Throwing, and more. Go by Bike Week is in September, and we are in discussions to be a featured community on their app. Continuing a big push on content acquisition, specifically more high resolution landscape video for YouTube and advertising, photography for the 2020 visitor guide, digital kiosk and a potential new website, and getting more business videos so that we can continue featuring as many as possible on social media. We'll be finishing programming the new digital kiosk and moving it in the fall, continuing the Google Maps project and cleaning up the business directory on exploresycamoose.ca and aiming for 5 new geocaches by 2027. Continuing our Visit Sycamoose campaign with the shift in the fall and shoulder season offerings and more focus on retail, and 2027 visitor guide planning starts in the fall. Next tourism advisory committee meeting will be in early September, where we will discuss the BC Bird Trail membership, 2027 MRDT plan, 2027 visitor guide, how to improve our print assets, and a new website. Yeah, that's all I have.
Brenna, thank you. Great job. Great job. Councilor Cave.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your presentation. Yeah, the ferry going to the rail trail, that's very unique to Sycamoose, and it's now a destination for people that come, like you said, like when you about 57,000 views regarding the ferry to the rail trail and about 10,000 uses on the ferry so far. That's a great unexpected boom to Sycamoose, pollution free and promotes us for a green community and lots of growth. It's great.
Council, anyone else? Councilor Bushel.
Brand, thank you. Just keep up the great work. I know you're running solo right now, but keep up the great work. And you know, you have lots of staff here that can help out if you need a hand or anything. So thank you for everything you're doing. Appreciate it.
Councilor Evans and Councilor Ridge.
Yeah, the other day on social media, I stumbled upon the videos of the different businesses. I just think that's just awesome. Good job on that hard work, because I know that takes a lot of time.
Thanks, Bob. Councilor Ridge.
Yeah, through the chair. I just want to say thank you. The social media has been absolutely incredible, and I know that's you. So thanks for what you're doing.
Councilor Bailey.
I just want to echo, thank you very much. And you had something on there about June hotel stats, but it didn't have any numbers. So I wondered.
Oh, yeah, so I just got them from them yesterday.
Okay.
And I just went to 4 of the main ones.
Yeah.
Average is 74%.
That's great.
It's preliminary, but.
Yeah, perfect.
Really good.
Thanks very much. And yeah, continue to do a great job that you are.
Thanks, Bryn. I think that, yeah, Explore Sycamoose is doing great. The ferry is like not surprisingly, it's amazing.
Buy
I
your
do have,
hat from the ferry.
buy your hat from the ferry. I do have one concern, and you guys are all aware of this. My personal opinion is the promoting Fallen Road. We are sending people over to the west side. Once that is full, then they're starting to park down the road. They're starting to park in front of people's houses because they're not going to drive back into Sycamoose to park. So I think we need to be really, really careful and promote people coming into Sycamoose to park, ride the ferry over instead of going into the small parking lot that doesn't have a lot of space. And then we get the complaints from the west side because it's flooding over into their space. So I think we need to be really careful as to how much promoting we do of that, if any. So that's those are my thoughts on that. And I don't know if council has anything they want to add to that. Councilor Bailey?
Well, no, I mean, obviously the whole point is to get people downtown Sycamoose. I guess there's going to be some sort of, I mean, if the ferry's at capacity, then people are looking also other places. I think what we need is an update on what does the bridge and the connectivity look like. I know you guys are working, staff is working with MOTT on that. That's going to be the major piece, is what is that long-term connectivity to downtown, how we integrate that. So going forward, we're encouraging people, and I agree with the mayor, to come downtown, stay here, come back, stay overnight, do all those wonderful things, make a weekend of it, or make a week of it, really.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I think those points are well taken, and I don't think we'll ever have enough parking over there either
No, I don't.
to ever be able to direct people there. So the only place we have that is actually downtown Sycamores.
Absolutely. And that's kind of my point and we could frustrate people
We would.
sending them over there. So
I definitely agree. We're not promoting it from a marketing standpoint at all. The only thing we're doing is just to direct people to it on Google Maps. It was something the hotels were saying. They were having a hard time telling people how to get access to the rail trail when the ferry isn't running. So it's just a more of a wayfinding thing for people.
Sure.
But I agree.
thank you. Councillor Rich.
Sorry, I'm trying here.
Pardon?
Oh, through the chair. I think the other thing about Fallen Road is it does give people who need mobility access that can't ride the ferry or get up the hill. So I know that we've needed to promote that for our mobility challenge people. So for me, that's been kind of, if I say anything about Fallon, I say, you know, if you've got some challenges and can't get up our little hill there.
Thank you. Councillor Bushel.
Through the chair, I agree. It's not the best place, but it's really tough to make people understand that the ferry's not open at 6 a.m. This morning, we had 2 RVs on Main Street that just pulled up about 6:30 this morning looking for the rail trail. And of course, the ferry's not open and they want to go in the morning. So they were trying to figure out how to get to the ferry and how to get to this other parking lot. So, come fall when the ferry shuts down again, people will be looking to park at Fallen Road. So I don't know, some signage, I don't know how I don't know how that, if the bridge is only going to have 2 lanes on it this winter, is there any way we can try to even shut down that, Fallen Road parking lot? I don't know. But they're there all hours of the morning, or even in the evenings. When the ferry's not running, they don't have access to Sycamores in the city.
So right now, the bridge does have a bike sign, and it's a bike sign to get into the lane to get across to the ferry. So the bridge is being used, and November it will open. So maybe a little bit more access then, but we won't have exact details on what the bridge looks like until November. Councillor McCabe?
Thank you. Yeah, I've had one person with mobility issues, wheelchair bound. It's easy to get on the ferry, but when it goes across on the other side, she actually had to get carried up onto the trail. Because even though there's a mat of some sort there, but yeah, no, she got stuck and couldn't get out and had to be lifted to the trail. So there's room for improvement on the west side of the channel for people with disability.
Definitely. Thanks, Maureen.
Councillor Rich.
Oh, sorry, Councillor Rich.
Yeah, through the chair. And I mean, I think I don't know if there is room for improvement because that is within the riparian. So we are very limited on what we can do there to improve that part. And I mean, again, maybe it's going back to our rail trail group and asking for more funding for a rail trail. Maybe CSRD is our representative for our trail, and maybe there's more funding because the ferry's so important and it's bringing people. I mean, we're going all the way to Grinrod now. So maybe there's some more money to keep our ferry open longer hours and longer season too.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, thanks. Okay, let's move on. Sycamores Community Health Center. Karen, take it away.
Good afternoon, everybody. Through the chair. I am pleased to provide council with a look back over the first 6 months of 2026. It's been another period of steady growth. Continued collaboration, meaningful progress in primary care for Sycamores. Today I'll share a few highlights from the clinic and some of the initiatives that continue to help. So our patient panel continues to grow. It's an increase by 3.5% since the beginning of the year. Nurse practitioner Jennifer Post-Balfour and Dr. Tingo continue to welcome new patients into attachments. And the process for that, what it does, it allows each practitioner to sort of bring on new patients as they feel they're ready for them, and also allows, like, for right now, Dr. Tingo might not be taking anybody through the attachment system. People are in his lineup, but keeping room for the walk-in and the really busy season coming up here. So that is a really terrific tool, because it gives the doctors, the practitioners, the increase their panels as they feel fit. So patient visits continue to increase. Telehealth remains a really important part of how we provide access to care, and walk-ins continue to rise, especially as we enter our busiest season of the year. So the numbers on the screen represent thousands and thousands of individual patient interactions that require teamwork. Our physicians, nurse practitioner, and medical office assistants work together every day to ensure patients receive timely, passionate, and coordinated care. The flexibility, professionalism, and willingness to support each other are another thing that makes this continued growth possible. Really pleased to announce that Nurse Jen has renewed her contract for another 3 years, and her patient panel will continue to grow. They'll cap at 800, but it's growing daily. So in addition to our work in community health center, Jennifer continues to provide care through the Eagle River School Clinic every second Wednesday. And so students have responded really, really positively to that, because it offers them a real safe and welcoming and accessible environment to access healthcare. So my presentation in December, I spoke about the vision of bringing local health and wellness providers together to explore how we can better support the community. We're really happy to report that the inaugural collaborative health gathering took place on February 10th, and it was with support from the Rural Coordination Centre of BC. Alice Muirhead is from RCCBC, and she co-facilitated the session with me. There's 23 people that participated, and it represented a really broad range of health and wellness communities. So the level of engagement demonstrated that people genuinely want to work together. There's a willingness to move beyond, because we can all identify the gaps, so that's easy to do. But they're really willing to work together after identifying the gaps and the strengths to build stronger connections between the organizations. So several priorities emerged, which include transportation, mental health, senior supports, care coordination, and improving transitions from hospital back into the community. And participants also expressed a strong desire to continue to work together through regular gatherings and to the development of a community health and wellness directory. One of the greatest strengths identified is not simply the services themselves, but the willingness of the providers to work together. So by continuing to strengthen these connections, we can create a more coordinated system of care where fewer people fall through the cracks. So in June, I attended the Keeping It Rural conference in Kelowna, where I did a presentation entitled From Vision to Reality. It was one municipality's effort to retain primary care. The presentation shared Sicamouse's journey from recognizing the impending loss of primary care to creating a collaborative vision that resulted in the Sicamous Health Centre. It highlighted the leadership of council and the importance of thinking differently about rural healthcare. The presentation was part of a larger provincial health panel discussing innovative approaches to sustaining healthcare in rural communities. One of the highlights of the conference for me was that the keynote speaker the next day, Dr. Farad Moganfar from Vancouver Island University, referenced the Sicamous presentation twice during his keynote address. He spoke about the importance of recognizing when traditional approaches are no longer working and having the courage to act proactively rather than reactively. It was gratifying to see Sycamoose recognized as an example of a community that chose to lead rather than to wait for change to happen. So the rural continuing medical education funding is now being administered through RCCBC. And this fall we will be purchasing a dermatoscope and the training that's involved. And I'm doing it in collaboration with other physicians in Salmon we have a doctor coming from Salton Island actually to facilitate the training, so gathering a group of other physicians together. So, and through this fund as well, a dermatoscope is going to be purchased, and it's a diagnostic tool that allows clinicians to examine skin lesions with greater accuracy. So, and given the lengthy wait times to see dermatologists, this equipment can help the providers better assess and triage patients, and hopefully get them access to more timely care. So, as everyone knows, Sam Chartrand retired in April after many years of dedicated service. And during the recruitment and training period, Kira and Carla willingly stepped up into full-time roles to ensure that no disruption to patient care was experienced. Such commitment, there was no question, they just did it. So on May 11th, we welcomed Mandy last night. She joins the team and she's just fitting in beautifully and just a real positive. We miss her a lot, but Mandy is just great. So this Saturday, Dr. Edmondson and Kira will host the Saturday clinic. It's a voluntary thing for the doctors, and Kira does it. She gets paid through Doctors in BC to do it, so it's no impact on our budget. So these regional clinics continue to improve access to same-day care and help reduce pressure on local emergency departments by providing patients with another option for non-emergency medical situations. So as I look back over the last 6 months of 2026, one thing is very clear. Primary care in Sycamoose is not simply being maintained, it's continuing to grow and evolve. Our patient panel continues to increase, access to care continues to expand, and our team remains committed to providing exceptional service to our community. None of this happens in isolation. It's made possible through strong partnerships with our practitioners, regional organizations, community agencies, and of course the ongoing support of council. Although my role is now focused solely on the primary care clinic, we continue to enjoy excellent working relationship with the allied health providers in the building and other organizations throughout Sycamoose. So it's that spirit of collaboration that benefits everyone, but most importantly, it benefits patients. Thank you. I'd be happy to answer your questions.
Karen, thank you so much. We appreciate all that you do. Council, any questions? I love Mandy. Sorry, you have a question now. I met her a couple of years ago, so I think she's a great addition to the team. And I'm so happy that, and probably will be for a long time, that Sycamoose is such a trendsetter and people talk about it all the time. And as we are reaching out to find money to move IH into that center, and sharing this story more and more, people want us to tell the story. So it's, it is so positive, and hats off to community and staff and council for such a great feat. Councillor McHaven and Councillor Bourgeois.
Yeah, it's just a win for everybody involved, all the stakeholders, all the people working behind the scenes. It's a great success story.
Through the chair, yeah, Karen, thank you very much for everything you do and your team. I heard a couple great reviews from some families that just moved to town and they just, they think it's just wonderful that they have access, and it's what you girls do over there and your team over there and your doctors. You're doing a great job. Thank you.
Councillor Rich.
Through the chair. Karen, I just want to thank you for everything you're doing. You've got a great team behind you, but you're just such a great leader. and when I go in that clinic, it just, you can feel it. It's community and the staff are happy and the clients are happy. I guess I have one question. And again, just because I didn't know and I've been here forever and that's my doctor in there. Do we do any advertising saying that you can get walk-ins? So, you know what, if you need stitches or you need something, I don't want to say minor, but maybe not hospital-like. Do we do any advertising for that so people know that?
Well, it is on the website, on the district website, and it's pretty well known. I suppose we could do some advertising for it, outside of that. You know, even just I could create like a post on social media. I don't do Instagram, I get other people to do it for me. And yeah, we could certainly do that, but it doesn't seem to be a secret, that's for sure.
Yeah, and
Sorry.
sorry, Karen, to interrupt. It may be a district thing that we put it on our district website saying, hey, you know what, we've got this, because the clinic is, so I mean, maybe it's not so much you, but a staff thing where we do, you know, we've got this bylaw, we've got this going on and that kind of thing. And also saying, hey, Sicamous, we do have this service here for you.
Yes.
Councillor Bailey.
Yeah, thanks, Karen. That was a great presentation and kudos and ditto to what everybody said, that you're doing a great job. I also have just a question. Those numbers are pretty impressive. We're almost 4,000 in the patient panel. Kind of curious, where is our upper limit in terms of what we could do?
Well, that's, you mean, because you see the growth.
Yeah, like I see it every single time it's been up.
Yeah.
Right? And I just wonder.
Yeah, well, that's really up to the practitioners, because
Right.
they
Okay.
all have a ceiling of, because the patient panel they manage it.
Okay.
And so right now, Dr. Evanston isn't taking any new patients. Dr. Kutingo will, at some point. Or he might be funneling a few through, not a lot, and Jen is definitely. So, yeah, it will cap out,
Mhm.
you know, at some point, because they can only do so much.
Right.
So unless we get another doctor.
Right. I guess that would be my follow-up. I guess that would be a really nice issue to have is that something, I guess what I was looking for is what numbers should we start putting that on our radar screen? Are we there or are we not quite there? We're getting somewhat there. So
Yeah,
it's a beautiful problem to have. It's
Yeah.
really nice. Yeah. But
that's, that would be a larger conversation
Okay.
to have with the entire medical team. And, you know, we do have some interest from a doctor in Revelstoke to do some locum work.
okay.
And so, you know, it might be something that we would entertain to have her come in 2 days a week during the summer, something like, there's all kinds of opportunity. We've got the space, we've got the capacity.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, it would be, it could be a really interesting conversation to have. So, I
Thanks.
don't have a real.
Oh, no. It was just
You know,
something I was interested in what that kind of looked like.
so yeah, I spent the 5 years watching it, you know,
Yeah.
increase so dramatically. And then I ran the numbers with 3%. That's not enough, but really, it's realistic.
Yeah, thanks, Karen. That was kind of my question too. At what point do we start advertising for another doc? Because
Yeah.
it takes a while to get a doc and you don't want to be in a situation where you need one right now because you're turning people away. So
Yeah.
3,000 or 4,000 panel is huge from the 1,700 that we started with when this journey began.
Less when we started.
Yeah, exactly. But I guess part of my other question is 4,000, that's great. And these are just in the area, these are just our.
The catchment area is quite large. I mean, mostly Sicamous area, of course, Malacroix, up from Revelstoke, we've got, you know, Vernon, even a few from Kamloops. It's not the best situation. They've been attached before and then they've moved on. As long as they come in to see the doctor, you know, on a regular basis, they can't just do telehealth. So they maintain that they maintain those relationships.
Great. Okay, anyone have any other questions? Shweta, did you want to?
No, we just have a quick recommendation for the acceptance of.
Oh, okay, sorry. There's a recommendation that the committee receive the Sycamore Health Center update for the 6 months for the 2026 for information. Councillor McCabe, Councillor Bailey, all in favor, and we've received it. Thank you so much. Okay, we're gonna go to the wildlife attraction bylaw 1080/2026. Nicole, there's a recommendation that staff be directed to prepare wildlife attractant bylaw 1080/2026 for first, second, and third reading. Councillor Rich, Councillor Bushel, take it away, Nicole.
Hey, thank you through the chair. So through a group effort, we're bringing back the wildlife attractant bylaw to the committee of the whole before it's brought to council for bylaw consideration. So this is a draft. Hopefully you've read through the staff report and the proposed bylaw and have a little bit of a direction for us on this. Just as a brief summary, if you recall, we've had delegations speak to this bylaw, including conservation officers and locals. And we've sent referrals to those agencies as well as the Ministry of Water, Land and Resources. And we've incorporated their thoughts into this bylaw. I rewatched the recording from last year's committee of the whole meeting and just captured what was discussed and included some solutions in the staff report. We had 3 discussion topics last time around, and that was wildlife resistant fencing, centralized garbage and compost facilities for stratas, and then education and awareness. So we've done our best to find a happy medium based on that discussion and that conversation, and we're opening it up to discussion again today. And just like in summary, the purpose of the bylaw is to deter wildlife from known attractants like other animals, bees and hens, or food sources like fruit and garbage. And the wildlife that we're targeting is bears, rats, raccoons, just those that become a nuisance to homeowners and then ultimately with coming down to safety. So as with all enforcement, it's complaint driven and education over enforcement. So take it away.
Council questions? Councillor Rich?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
So I guess one of my questions is, it did say that we were consulting. So I'm all for this bylaw and I've driven this bylaw, I think from the beginning, it's really important to me. I'm going to put that first, but have we distinguished between residential and our agricultural? We do have A2, so out on Kerr Road, Old Town Road, we have agricultural lands. So how a farmer can maintain this bylaw compared to someone that lives in the tree streets, I think is very different. And have we differentiated between that?
Thank you. Good question.
No,
Goal number
Let me take a look. Yeah, pardon?
14.
Yes, thank you. We're just going through the bylaw there, Councillor Rich. Okay, so number 14, I don't know if you have the bylaw in front of you there, but that lists the exemptions. Thank you, Bianca. Is that visible?
Councillor Rich, does that answer your question?
It's not on my screen, so I didn't hear what.
Oh.
So what is the exemption?
Nicole, can you just read that out, please?
Wow, okay. It's a paragraph. This bylaw does not apply to police, fire, or other emergency personnel acting in the course of their duties, district officers, employees, or contractors acting in the course of their duties. Normal farm practices conducted in accordance with the Farm Practices Protection, Right to Farm Act. Emergency repairs necessary for the preservation and protection of life, health, or property. A person engaged in lawful hunting or trapping activities in accordance with the Wildlife Act, or activities authorized by a valid permit issued under the Wildlife Act. Those are the exemptions.
Perfect. I love it. Thank you.
Councillor Bushel?
Yeah, through the chair. Yeah, I was kind of concerned about the same same thing because farmers have, they don't normally pick up their fruit and if they have 20 or 30 acres and they let it decompose and go back into the earth. But that was one question. And the other one was, I just lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah, it did say that we were going to consult with campgrounds and motels or businesses. Did we reach out to any of those people?
Yeah, thank you through the chair. It's a good question because that was a part of the last discussion. No, like we haven't approached any properties specifically. Our plan would be to obviously do social media, websites. We have a plan for an insertion, if this is adopted, into the utility mail out, and then really any other education that, you know, council provides direction on, we can do that. So no, haven't approached everyone directly, but do plan to have an education plan in place.
Yeah, so Nicole, would we do that before the final reading? Could we do that somehow? Is that, would that be the right thing to do? To reach out to, you know, the campgrounds and things like that?
Certainly, we could certainly, once the council goes forward with the bylaw being created, we could put through the draft to our social media. We have communications, we can certainly put it out and ensure that those different facilities as well as the general public has an opportunity to provide info.
That would be great. Yeah, because when I read a staff report, it was a recommendation that we talked about earlier.
Councillor Bailey.
Yeah, I would certainly support that. I mean, I've had some concerns about this bylaw too, and being an overlap of what we already have, and I don't want to add more bylaws onto our current bylaws that follow some of this stuff. You know, I think having consultation with businesses and campgrounds and others is really important before we adopt this. I think there needs to be, and I think I understand what it is around clarity around wildlife resistant containers, but we should be clearly defining that because there are multitudes on a commercial side of where some are allowed, some are not allowed. So that needs to be defined because if everyone's going to be changing their commercial garbage bins, that's a huge deal. And obviously not something I would support because that would be a direct cost to a lot of businesses in town. And then I think the other thing that we want to take a look at that I don't know, or maybe it's covered under the section that you just did, is dump operations, things like that, in terms of would that apply to them? Obviously dumps are huge wildlife attractants. There's on a number of different things. So I'm not sure if we thought about that, but we definitely should. And in general, I just want to make sure that when we go through this, I mean, we have things in here like barbecue equipment and tools, outdoor lots we kept clean. You know, then I go down to the penalty section. You know, a person who contravenes this bylaw commits an offense and is liable upon conviction of a fine of not more than $50,000, and we're applicable to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 6 months. I want to make sure we're communicating this properly, right? That ultimately what we're trying to do is saying, basically you're saying be a good neighbor. Like don't do these things, don't attract rats, don't attract raccoons, don't please attract bears, do the right things. I'm just wondering if this is sending the right message, because when I read the penalty section, oh, imprisonment for 6 months, that and $50,000, that does not seem to be the right message, I would be saying. A little bit too heavy-handed there. Yeah, I think consultation is important on this prior to us adopting it or first, second, or reading. We could do first reading, then go out and ask. I'm certainly interested to hear what businesses and campgrounds say, all of the seasonal recreational folks, to make sure that this isn't onerous on them. And if that's the feedback, well, can we find another way to work with them under existing bylaws to enable and to get us to the same kind of place that we want to be, which is ultimately we don't want wildlife being attracted to garbage and having all these issues that come with that. That's my comments.
CAO.
Just to answer the question, so these are our clauses, we include our bylaws. This is not, of course, ever begin bylaw enforcement.
Okay.
Bylaw enforcement begins with education.
Right.
This needs to be in your bylaws as a mechanism if you have a gross disregard for bylaw and it's creating a crisis in the neighborhood, you need some kind of a hammer. If you don't include it in the bylaw, you don't have a hammer.
Okay.
Doesn't mean the hammer has to come out. It means that we have a hammer. That's all it means. That's the intent behind
It's
it.
potentially
So
that.
the fine is not even the first place we normally start, would be education, especially with the new bylaw. So we would be educating the public. Listen, you've got attractants, your apples are creating bear attractants in your neighborhood. You've now got a black bear visitor. We need you to clean up your apples. That would be the kind of approach we would take to it. And if weeks later the apples have not been cleaned up, then we may do a fine. It wouldn't be a $50,000, be a minor fine. And that would be the approach that we would take.
Could I follow up? Yeah, I'm also just backyard gardens. Like I didn't see, and maybe I didn't go through every single one, but backyard gardens, that's an attractant for sure, right? But that's obviously something that a lot of our residents love to do. I don't want it to be interpreted that they have to put up an electrified fence around their garden in order to make that not an attractant. So I feel like there's a lot of things in here that are potentially unintended consequences. I mean, government, we do things with the right meaning, but then we don't necessarily understand the knock-on effect and the unintended consequences where it comes into real life reality. And I don't want to see the bylaw be used as, hey, my next door neighbor's garden or something is planted and that's attracting a mouse or a rat or a rabbit or something, right? That then becomes an issue for this bylaw. And I'm thinking that through going, well, these are potentially some unintended consequences where we're now making it more difficult to do things around food security and gardens. And, you know, I get the whole debate around compost as well. That can be a thorny issue. So I just think there's a lot more here than kind of meets the eye. And I suspect others will have some of the same conclusions that I'm thinking through in my mind. So I guess I'm just reiterating what I said before was the consultation. Having that before is, I think, key.
Councilor Bushel.
Here, and I'm not sure if you can have any of the numbers. Like our biggest complaint, is it like raccoons? Like, I know I caught one list
That's a big one you caught.
day at my place. I just let them go at Bayview. Okay. Anyways, but is it not worse? You know, you hear about bears and you hear about cougars and you don't hear a lot about raccoons or rats and things like that. What's our number one complaint is with wildlife?
Yeah, it's a good question. I was just talking to the bylaw officer about it. Because I know in previous years, we've heard a little bit about bears, but like this year, it's been quite quiet. There's really nothing that's been brought to our attention that would need to be addressed, even by this bylaw. So for this year, quite low. I don't want to jinx ourselves.
Obviously heading in the right direction.
Well, the reason I ask is I mean, I have heard people talking lots about raccoons, and I know I live fairly close to the landfill, and I know I had to borrow the trap that my boss has because he has a lot up at his place. So the raccoons must be in the dump or something. But because I've never had them at my place before until this year, and now they're chawing away at my lawn and digging holes in my lawn. So I caught, you know, I got two right away. So I'm just wondering where they're coming from and what's our biggest complaint. So thank you.
I have had raccoons up at Bayview, so they're obviously going to.
He's bringing them over.
Yeah, he's bringing them over.
Bringing them back. Rich, Evans, and then McCabe.
Yeah, through the chair. I mean, the raccoons are everywhere. I was downtown at 2:00 and they were heading over to the marijuana shop the other day from Beach Chick. I think they were down shopping. Mommy and two babies in the middle of the day. In the tree streets, there's raccoons everywhere. I think again, and we need to make sure that we do this bylaw solidly. But in the tree streets, again, there's lots of raccoons. We have tons of them. And it isn't that we don't want the raccoons here. What we don't want is raccoon feeders. And I do know of several people that actually feed the raccoons. And I think that's where this bylaw comes in, right? That, I mean, animals are going to live among us. we don't need to attract them to us. And the same thing with the bears. We don't need to attract the animals here. So if you do have apple trees or something like that, it doesn't mean you need to put up hot wire. If you decide to have them, then you need to maintain them. You can't let all your fruit fall on the ground and rot, right? Because that's going to bring bears into town, which again, we haven't had bear issues this year, but in the past, I know, we have had hold in place at schools because of black bears walking past the schools. And that's recent history. I'm not talking 20 years ago. I'm talking 3 years ago. So if you choose to have fruit trees or compost or any of those kind of things, then it's up to you to maintain them. I just think we need to make sure that the bylaw is not a brush stroke, that we're giving people room.
Thank you, Councillor Evans.
Yeah, I just see a lot of common sense in this bylaw, and I guess the electric fence thing, I saw that as a green light to tell me I could put one up to protect my stuff. So I didn't take that as a mandated thing. And the other question is, yeah, I've had raccoons at my place, and I've seen rats in town, and the drive-through McDonald's for rats is compost, and I get that. But yeah, it's just mostly a lot of common sense. So I think so far this is a pretty good bylaw, and I think it's a good idea to get into the hands of campgrounds and then just say, hey, please give this a read and let us know what you think. But for me, most of it makes total sense.
Thank you, Councillor Evans. Councillor McCabe.
Yeah, I haven't been in the dog park for a while, but do I remember, do we have a fruit tree in the dog park? Is there an apple tree in the dog park? No?
I don't know.
Thought there was. Anyhow, we might be guilty of that if there is, having a fruit tree in the dog park. Yeah, so I think I have raccoons in my front yard, and they come at night and they dig those things called grooves. That's like a little delicacy for the raccoons. And so I got these little tiny holes all over my front yard from raccoons digging up the grooves at night. That's just a comment more than anything.
Councillor Bailey.
I have not seen a raccoon at all, even around the fence. Oh, I guess we saw a few truck in front of the Narrows one day on the camera that evening. So I don't. Everyone's talking about raccoons today. I guess I just have a question. So with the electric fence or the low voltage electric fence, is that mandatory or just permissible?
This is providing you permission to do that, to protect beehives and hens. So if you have an issue that, because our general bylaw doesn't elect fences, this is a provision that allows for it for this specific purpose.
Right.
Not requiring you to do it, but allowing you to do it.
Okay. And yeah, I mean, I guess the other thing I would have concerns about that is just, what if somebody has it or a lot of people have it and then a cat gets into it or something, right? I don't want to bring up all the ensuing kind of potential here, but I just want to highlight the potential concerns because I've heard that from some people too around this. And I'm just thinking about some other municipalities that permit that. Like you listed the places that we looked at, but I know in Vancouver, you're allowed a chicken hen in your backyard, and we never said you're allowed to put up an electric fence. But I just wonder where that idea is kind of coming from. Is that because that's in other bylaws?
Yeah. Go ahead, Stan.
So the example I'd use is in Revelstoke.
Okay.
In Revelstoke, this is a fairly common occurrence. It's not uncommon. I was there for 4 years working with them. And
okay.
It wasn't uncommon to have a grizzly bear walking downtown.
Right.
So the bears are quite prevalent there. So electrifying things like compost areas as well as beehives in particular were quite important. When that was done, there's requirements for signage. Normally, you don't see the whole property done that way. What you'll see in the way they're set up, because it is expensive to do, is you'll see the property be fenced, and then inside that fenced area will be a fenced compound that's protected, such as the hives. The resort has an area where their food grease goes. So it's not the whole property has an electrified fence around it. Whole property has a fence around it. Inside that fence, there's another compound area that has electrification to prevent the bears from going into the grease.
And a fence.
That's right. They're only electrifying that one little compound. So the resort has them for the grease bins.
Yeah.
Where all their grease bins are located at the bottom of the resort. There's a gravel pit there. The whole gravel pit is fenced, but that's not electrified. Just the compound is electrified.
Councillor Rich.
Yeah, through the chair, I am very well versed on electric fence. I could be an electric fence expert. And one, if a cat hits an electric fence, what's going to happen is the cat's not going to go back on property. It's not going to be dead. If a bird hit an electric fence, no one is ever going to die encountering an electric fence. Even if you had a heart transplant, the electric fence is not going to finish you off. You're going to not feel good. I'll tell you that, and you'll think twice before going there. But exactly what Dean said, what most people do with electric fence is they do, so if, and there are people with beehives within Sicamous. We've actually got several large beehives within Sicamous. And what you do is you just fence off around your beehive. So then when a bear comes to look at your beehive, they get zapped, or a raccoon, and then they think, oh, I don't want to do that again. So we're not asking our taxpayers to fence off their entire yard if they have a chicken coop. What they would do is just put a small area around it. And Dean said it's expensive. It's not. You know what? If you've got 4 hens in Sicamous, to put up a good electric fence with a fencer and your work, if you installed it yourself, it would be $200. And if you've invested in chickens, then that's not really that much money. So it isn't that expensive, but chickens will attract bears, right? Bears will come because there's chickens. But it's not hard to install. It's not expensive, and we're not asking people to do their entire yards. What we're saying is if you choose to have this hobby within Sicamous, then you will then part of the hobby, just like if you have a dog, you'll fence your dog in. And if you have a chicken coop, you're going to fence your chicken coop in. That's how I see it.
Thank you, Councillor Rich. Any other comments or questions? Okay, let's call the question. All in favor?
Oh,
Sorry?
sorry, what is the, sorry, first of all, what is the question?
Discussion?
Yeah, I thought it was for discussion, and then what are we,
This is for second and third reading.
not a how?
This is for information.
Prepare.
Yeah, sorry, just to prepare, to give direction to staff to go ahead and prepare the
The report for first, third
the
reading.
bylaw for first, second, and third.
No, first, just prepare it for first, second and third.
Yeah, but can I add an amendment to that?
And
To prepare for first reading and prepare a consultation plan after first reading.
that's fair.
I would support that motion.
I think that you would, if I may, just adding that the consultation plan, it wouldn't necessarily be a change to the resolution. As we bring the bylaw forward, we'll bring a communication plan with it.
No, what I'm saying is that we can bring it first reading, introduce it, then consultations begin. We won't do first, second, and third reading all at once like sometimes we do.
I agree. I'll second that.
So first reading and consultation.
Yeah.
First reading, then consultation.
All in favor? Do we have to vote on, no, we can just amend it?
No, I just did it as a minute.
Okay, all in favor?
Yeah.
Okay, amended. All right, we're gonna move on. And I'm gonna invite Director Martin up to take a seat at the table. Thanks for being here, Director Martin. All right. For information, history and parameters for economic opportunity funds administered by the CSRD. Bianca, do you want to give us the update, and then Council and Director
Yeah,
can.
real quick, just because I think the biggest question was parameters on it, criteria, and like I briefly said, presenting. It's a super simple criteria, where it's, criteria for assessing each EOF will be based on the demonstrable and enduring benefit to the economy of the affected communities at large. The EOF is designed to stimulate economic generators, transportation facilities, and infrastructure development supportable jointly by the participating members involved and approved by the board. So our area, there's 4 different areas. Area B is quite small amounts there, but our area is Sicamous and Area E. So we have the director here today. And yeah, I just provided CSRD staff was awesome giving me kind of a summary and history, and actually I got it for the 3 main areas, which is quite interesting. And it's being provided at the end of the report, kind of where we've seen our spends of EOF dating back to 2014. I've also included Golden and Area A's and Revelstoke and Area B's. Very heavily tourism, recreation, but if you look in Golden and ours, we also have some social aspects, which very much complement our rural setting and the need for those social programs as well. With that, I'll pass it over for discussion.
Absolutely. And just going over how Golden and Revy use their EOF, I think our EOF, I think we're using it. I personally think that we're using it properly, and it does some great work. We've got Eagle, Owl's Head, we've got, our pump track, the health center and the learning center. And these are things that add to our communities and reasons for people that want to be here and be comfortable here. Council, do you have questions? Councillor Bailey?
Yeah, I want to say thank you to staff for and Director Martin for CSRD for getting this together. I think it gives us clarity. That's all I ever wanted was, what are we using this for? What is the parameters? The parameters are obviously quite large and they're quite expansive as long as both parties kind of agree. As you mentioned, that the ability to use it for social causes as well is certainly there. It's just based on precedent. So, I think that's the most important thing for this council to have is clarity on what can come forward, what can we discuss around it. And unless I'm wrong, it doesn't seem that there's nothing that's really prohibited. It just needs to be agreed upon. Am I correct in that staff interpretation?
Yeah, there just needs to be a rationale why it's helping drive.
And both parties need to agree. Perfect.
Councillor Bushel?
Through the chair, yeah, we voted on this last meeting, and it's not that I'm opposed of helping the medical center. It's just that we've never used it for, sure, we've used it for some social services, but never used it for medical, like, for healthcare. And I was just, the reason I thought we should try to keep it in the same basket as what we've always used it for is for economic development, would be for, competing with Golden, Revelstoke, Salmon Arm. They're doing tons of recreational stuff. And I just thought, since we already fund the medical center, the taxpayers fund it $75,000 or $80,000 through our budget, annual budget, keep it that way and keep this for, trying to grow economic development in Sicamous. And not saying that the medical center isn't an economic development driver, but the taxpayers already paid for it. And I just thought we could use more money towards recreation to kind of, we are competing against Revelstoke and we are competing against Golden. I was there yesterday and spent some time there yesterday, and I was just blown away on how much money they're spending on recreation. And that town was full yesterday, full. And it was a weekday. So just thought I'd let you know.
But I think for Sicamous as well, we're using a lot of it for recreation. The Ferry Society, Area E has contributed with the Mountain Eagle Owl's Head Mountain, the pump track. Like there's lots of things that there's lots of things that are coming forward that, you know what, Area E does, agree and contribute to because it's also part of their community. We're part of their community. They're part of our community. It's just.
So you've used it for the stage, portable stage, the washrooms, the bridge going over the lagoon there. There's been all kinds of things, but I remember having the conversation with CSRD staff about supporting the school building in Malapa, and it is supporting infrastructure within the community that the local residents will use. And so as a director representing Area E, when the request came forward, I can't very well say no to your request because the medical center, the wellness center is for the residents of this area and Area E as well. And it is an economic opportunity as well because you are able to rent out space there and there could be events that are held there. So it is an economic opportunity, but it also gives the residents of Sicamous perhaps a little bit of a break on their taxes, for a few years. So the need within rural communities is always far greater than the ability for the taxpayers to pay. And if there is a way that they can be assisted to grow their infrastructure, then, I think that it behooves us to take advantage of that. And I really, I'm grateful for the fund that we have. And I'm always, terrified that it's going to disappear on all of us. And I worry about that. And that is why I am actually taking the school building to referendum. And it might be something that I fall on the sword for, but I want to make sure that it is sustainable for the long term for the community. But you have this opportunity here. The request came to me. I'm happy to support it. And I think you will be dealing with another one at your next meeting, maybe, from the Transportation Society. And just to let you know that I am happy to support that. The only issue that I would have with the Transportation Society is I would like to see their names on there rather than there's nothing in the family, but because I do know that the Transportation Society is providing an awesome service, to people. It's not an economic opportunity, but it is a life-changing opportunity for people. They may not be able to stay in their homes if there was not a method for them to get to their medical appointments and things like that. So, I do appreciate that. I think that, this request, like I said, I can't say no to your request because you have said yes to my request and I appreciate it. And the people in.
Thank you, Director Martin. Councilor Bailey.
Yeah, and I think this all makes sense and it's good to know what the parameters are. And that's my only issues with the OF, just what are the rules? How are we doing it? Because I've heard sometimes like, oh, that one shouldn't go forward because it wasn't an economic opportunity. Almost everything we do could be potentially an economic opportunity, and all of this social infrastructure that we do definitely leads to potential economic benefit for sure. Without a health center, without even the ferry, I don't think we'd be capitalizing the way we are on the economic benefits, right? We've seen a direct correlation to, I think, how many people are in town just to use that. So it's really nice to just have clarity around this. And I think going forward now, whoever the new council is can say, here are the broad parameters, and they can have a discussion and say it's done in partnership with our Area E director and then go from there. So I appreciate staff and I appreciate your time, Mr. Martin, because there was just some lack of clarity around it, at least for me. And I think even for us at this table, that I think has now been cleared up.
And you have to remember also that there is the ability for conversation. And just because it is an economic opportunity, it may not be one that the council or the area director support because it could have impacts on something else. And so, there's always the conversation that needs to take place. There's a motion that comes to your table and the motion that comes to our table at the CSRD. And so you have the ability for input always and the ability to ask questions always.
I'm kind of afraid too of it going away. So I want us to pick our battles really well so that we do have some reserves or some cushion, that we're not just spending foolishly on, not that anything is foolish, but we're not just spending it because we have it. You know, it's good to have reserves all the time.
Exactly. I totally understand.
Yeah.
We support that. And I think we have some great things happening. You know, I mean, the contribution that we've made to the rail trail
Absolutely.
is, you know,
Huge.
the economic benefit that's coming into the community now. And so that's just,
Yeah.
That's just one thing.
Councillor McCabe.
Yeah, just on Eagle Valley Transportation, I am stepping down. I think Eagle Valley Transportation is working towards getting amalgamated into Eagle Valley Community Support Services. And I think Siobhan is part of that effort there too. So, yeah, I am stepping back.
Perfect. Perfect.
Maybe we created it. Me and
I
my
know when you did a brilliant job and it was, yeah.
girls.
Thank you, yeah. Council, any other questions? Okay. That's it for that conversation. Thank you, Director Martin, for being here.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, we're gonna go into mayor and council reports. Councillor Rich.
Hi, through the chair. So was at the Telus barbecue, the car show barbecue, Kylo's home barbecue. If I never see another barbecue again, I'll be pretty good. And I just want to say today I am at Stock Show with our 4-H kids are here out for a week. So 4-H is very important within Sicamous, Malacqua, Swansea. And the kids are all out in Armstrong showing their animals all week if people want to come out and take a look. And we also have, they'll be auctioning their animals off on Saturday. So you don't have to come and buy an animal, but you're probably going to get really great beef for a good price. And if you want to just come and support Sicamous. And then the last part of the 4-H spiel is our club went around town and asked for donations because we have a silent auction. And the way Sicamous stepped up, I would say 55% of the silent auction items here, even though our club is probably about 10% of the kids showing, 55% of the prizes are from Sicamous. So just shout out to our town. We always step up, and it just I'm so impressed with us.
Thank you. Councillor Evans.
Just been busy having extra council meetings and doing fun things like reading and getting ready and just been impressed with watching things around town like that farmers market on Fridays and the Canada Day festivities and our awesome fireworks and just the things that our town does that makes Sicamous so special. So other than that, it's been like summer. It's summer and it's smoky. So don't start a fire.
Thanks, Councillor Evans. I think the fire ban goes in on the 10th. So don't start fires. Councillor Bushel.
Yeah, through the chair. Yeah, I attended the Telus barbecue for a hot dog and I ended up cooking 400 hot dogs. And the car show, I entered the car show. That was a great show. Lots of nice cars and there are a lot of people in town for that. Farmers market, big shout out to Deb and her farmers market. It's a great farmer market and lots of people come from all over the place to see her market. Fireworks, I attended it out on the lake this time and it's not from shore. So it was wonderful out there. Really, really nice out on the water. It was a nice night and I attended the Channelside Kylo property open house and that was a nice open house.
Perfect. Councillor McKay.
Not much to report. I attended the car show and I had a car in the car show. I sold my car.
The car show?
I've got a lot of interest, but yeah, not much to report.
Thank you, Councillor Bailey.
Yeah, shout out to the car show. I think extremely well attended this year again. And shout out to the market. I went to the market one night. That was great. Now that I don't have a restaurant necessarily to run two of them in the evening, I got a chance to go down there. Great vendors. I got the last couple of cupcakes that are amazing, by the way. And I can't remember who the cupcake maker is, so I can't. Yes. wonderful cupcakes. Go get the cupcakes. Amongst everything else, I think the farmer's market, like I said earlier, it's just growing and growing and growing. And you can see just the benefit that it had. And just a couple of constituent meetings through this week, but, and then all of our regular council meetings that we've been having.
Excellent, thank you. Just to Siobhan's point, I was a 4-H kid and I'm a farm kid. And on sale day, as I was leading my beef around the ring to be auctioned off, I was sobbing so bad. I was just crying because my beef is now going to be someone's burger, right? And you spend a year with that beef and it just, you're combing it, you're grooming it, you're filing its little hooves. It's crazy. I feel sad for those kids right now. Anyway, I attended the TELUS community celebration, and what a great addition to our community having pure fiber. We are so fortunate, and TELUS did a brilliant job thanking the community. And the money that went to our food bank, I think the check was $2,500, but I think there was also donations that day. So in the next day, so I think there was like $5,000 that went to the food bank. So great event, and thank you for all of those that contributed. Bianca and I were on a conference call with Adina Brown. She's a ministerial advisor to the Minister of Finance, looking for money for moving our interior health lab and community health center into our health center. So all of our healthcare is under one roof. So we are not giving up on that. Bianca and I are turning over every stone that we can and knocking on doors 2 or 3 times just to make sure you said no. But we're working really hard at finding some funding for that. And yeah, July 1st was brilliant. And again, a great turnout. Jamie did a wonderful job. The fireworks were spectacular. So another great July 1st. And yeah, thanks to the district and Jamie for putting that all together. And just a happy birthday to Bianca today.
Oh,
Hey,
wow.
And now we're going into public input. Do we have any questions from the gallery or online?
Not online.
Not online, in the gallery? And we are good to go. We are going to adjourn the Wednesday, July 8th Cal meeting at 2:39. Could I get a mover? Councillor Bailey, Councillor Bush, all in favor? Thank you very much. And thank you again, Director Martin, for being here.